Unsupermarket.
Welcome back to the Unsupermarket podcast, where we strip wrapping off your groceries and tell the stories of our farmers. I'm Lee.
And I'm Jane. And today we're talking apples, Lee. Yes, apples. They sit usually in our fruit bowl all week, being chomped away at, and there's a lot of more drama behind that crunch than you think.
Yes, Jane, Australia's apple game is strong, especially down in Victoria and in Tasmania.
So Lee and myself, we went down to Victoria and we met farmers who, it's not just about heritage. We found that every apple has a backstory and it's full of care and science and a ridiculous amount of hard work, wasn't it, Lee? Supporting Aussie growers isn't just about buy local, it's valuing their knowledge that's been passed down like heirlooms, but juicier.
So I've got a pro tip here, Jane, for all of our viewers. Apples like it cool and a little humid. So the fridge is their happy place. That's how you keep them crunchy for weeks rather than them watching them wrinkle into, well, a wrinkly
Mush.
apple on the bench.
That's it, apple mush. But here's a breathless fact, Lee. Apples breathe. They breathe out ethylene gas, which is a ripening hormone, and that gas makes other fruit ripen quickly. Pears are also heavy breathers, and so are bananas. And especially in the fridge, you need to keep them away from all other fruit.
So no fridge space, I heard everybody say. It's a common problem. So that's fine. Use a pantry, a cool cupboard, works just as fine. Just keep apples out of the sunlight and any sort of draft. And for the love of fruit, check them regularly. Eat them. One bad apple really does turn and ruin the others.
That's true. Lee, apple farmers are also not putting all their eggs in one basket. Many grow pears, stone fruit, even garlic. And diversification for farmers, it spreads the risk and keeps their interest. It also, if the weather is bad or the market throws curveballs, it's a way for them to survive.
Yes, diversity. It also allows them to learn new skills, I'm sure too, Jane. So, which is a perfect segue to today's guest, Nick Delios from Victoria. He's a third-generation apple farmer, pear grower, and apparently garlic enthusiast. And what we saw was a masterclass, like truly masterclass in mixing old school knowledge with modern smarts.
Yeah, and we learnt that Nick's family have been farming since the 1950s. That's generations of commitment, Lee, climate headaches and orchard experiments all rolled into one. And it's not just apples. Nick's team grows nectarines, peaches, plums, pears, basically a DIY for fruit salad.
Odds are if you've had fruit, which we all have, in Victoria or New South Wales, you've eaten something from Delios apples.
Lee, that classic saying, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. It turns out apples do help with cholesterol, gut health, and late-night snack cravings.
So here's the kicker, though. It takes 5 years to grow one apple.
Wow.
5. You know, who thinks about that when you're buying apples every week?
And the Delios family has been making that bet for 3 generations, which is amazing. It's a level of a patience that I just can't imagine. Nick was telling us he juggles everything from tradition, tech, markets, climate roulette, basically. Victoria's fruit regions, which is really interesting because we went to Bacchus Marsh, but there's also Harcourt and Goulburn Valley. But they all have long histories, Lee. They're all facing now, however, hotter winters, drier summers, and supermarkets demanding apples that last longer than your houseplants even.
Well, look, so farmers like Nick are basically futurists, Jane. What will people want in 5 years? So let's dive in now with Nick.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Unsupermarket podcast. I'm Jane.
And I'm Lee.
And this is Nick Delios, and he is a farmer in Victoria in Bacchus Marsh.
I'm third generation, so my grandfather, he migrated from Greece. They started growing market garden vegetables first, and then probably about 6 or 7 years later they moved to Bacchus Marsh and grew vegetables here. And most of the people were growing fruit here. So they thought, well, we should give this a try and start growing fruit. So they planted apple trees, and they were still growing vegetables in between the apple trees until the apple trees started cropping. And then once that happened, then they started phasing out of vegetables. We've still got a little bit of vegetables in our background. We dabble in a few bits and pieces, but predominantly we grow apples now.
Okay, what sort of apples?
We're probably known for our Fuji. We grow a lot of Fuji, big crop of Fuji. We grow Granny Smith, we grow Pink Lady, Red Delicious, Sundowner, Royal Gala, Golden Delicious. Yeah, we don't do any of the club varieties. Okay. We basically just do all those commodity line fruits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
what do you mean by
fruits.
club varieties?
So a club variety is a variety that's owned by a company, like the Montague Group. They own Jazz, they own quite a few, right? So they buy a variety from a developer or a nursery that actually develops the fruit.
Yeah.
They own the variety. So what they do is they pick who can grow it. They actually charge you a royalty for growing them. It could be a per hectare royalty. It can also be, you pay royalties on the plants. You can't propagate the plants yourself. So basically, if there's a dead tree, you've got to buy another tree from them, you know. We can't pack them unless you're actually a
licensed packer.
Correct, yep. We can't sell them.
Can't go to the side of the road and sell them?
No.
Nope.
Again, like
Can't sell them to anyone
they
that
pick
you want
who sells them.
Yep.
They pick who packs them.
Yep.
So what it does is it takes all those areas where you can actually make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
And someone else is actually making money,
Yeah.
or someone else is clipping the ticket at each of those stages.
Yeah. Yeah.
So at the
And
end
you
of
as
the
a
day,
farmer don't have autonomy
yeah, that's correct.
in growing.
And the
it.
trouble is, realistically, the way I look at it as a grower, they should actually supply us trees.
Yeah.
They should pay us to actually grow it.
Yeah.
We work out how much it costs, how much to water it, how much to spray it,
Yeah.
and then if they make any extra money at the end of the day, that's good luck to them.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It works upside down.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
It's not right. You know?
And when you were a young child, did
Yep.
you come on the farm and work on the farm?
Oh yeah, I was before school. I was with my dad. After school, I was making boxes in the packing shed. Yeah, there was no rest for the wicked. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
Yeah.
It was what we.
You got siblings?
I've got 4 sisters.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did they come and join in?
They weren't as much on the farm, but yeah, look, 2 of my sisters are in the operation as well. Yeah. One, she's in the office, and the other one is the shed manager.
Okay,
So, yeah.
so they are involved.
Yeah, they are, certainly are. Yeah.
So when you were young, the farm was run a certain way. How's it technically changed?
Well, we've gone to high density trees or trellised orchard, which is what we're next to.
Let's have a look at it. So this is a trellised orchard. I've not seen one of these before.
Okay, so traditionally trees were just planted and you would grow 5 to 7 branches. They were freestanding. They would take a long while to get established because you had to establish a root system to hold the tree up. Probably started getting in production around about year 6 to year 7. They were in full production about year 7. These trees are trying to keep the birds away.
Okay, yeah, so just so that you know that gun that goes off, it's actually to keep the birds off the garlic. We'll
That's
look
it.
at that in a minute.
Okay,
so it goes off in 3s. I think we've got one more to go.
That's it. So back to the trees.
Yep.
So these are a dwarfing rootstock. So the trees will not support themselves. They've got to be supported by posts and wire. But what these trees want to do, they want to grow fruit. So by year 4, we're in full production. So the old style of tree, we planted around about 600 trees per hectare. These trees we plant are high density trees. We plant 3,100 trees per hectare.
Wow.
So the investment is a lot higher, but the returns come sooner, and we go from picking, say, 35 to 40 tonnes per hectare on a freestanding tree to up to 100 tonnes per hectare on a supported system, on a trellis system.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And here, just looking down at the actual tree itself, because it looks very different to a normal tree, standing on its own.
Yep.
How does the root system work here with all the trees so close to it?
Well, the dwarfing rootstock doesn't grow a big root system. It's only got a root ball or root mass, probably only goes around about 6 to 8 inches deep. That's why it can't support itself. It falls over. If you don't support it, it'll fall over once it gets cropped. Whereas a freestanding tree, it sends roots down probably anything up to 3 metres. So it's actually got structure in the ground. It can actually hold itself up. That's the difference in the time frame it takes to actually start producing fruit. So we're in dormancy now. Well, this knob here is where the tree is grafted to the rootstock, and there's different types of rootstock which
I see.
control.
This is the graft
That's a
in
graft
here.
there.
Right,
Yep.
okay.
So the rootstock determines how big and how vigorous the tree grows. Bacchus Marsh is probably the soil is probably too good for growing apples. It's too rich. So what we have trouble with is controlling the vigour of the tree. So we've got to keep the vigour to a minimum, because when you get too much vigour, you get too much leaves, too much shading, and you have trouble colouring the fruit. So Bacchus Marsh soil depths are ending up to 3 metres deep, whereas other areas like Harcourt, they've probably got 100 mils of topsoil, and the rest is granite and rock and that type of stuff, you know.
And how long is dormant? How long are they dormant for? How long
Well,
have they been like this?
they're probably around about 5 or 6 weeks from waking up, so we're starting to the buds to swell and break. They're dormant for probably 6 months, yeah. They need chill hours to actually set fruit, so they need cold nights. So you can't grow.
So what temperature is that?
Well, chill hours is below zero, so they need really roughly about 600 hours of chill to actually produce fruit. So if you're not getting that, so you can't grow apples, well, not that well in Queensland, you know, because they don't get that many chill hours.
chill.
They grow them in the hills where it is a little bit colder, but typically you need, you know, like a lot of chill hours to actually get a crop. Yeah.
Oh, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And then it'll flower. Is that what the first
So
thing?
these buds will
These
produce fruit.
Yep.
Some of the smaller buds here will be leaf. So you see how that's actually got a bit of girth about it, a size. That's where that will have a flower. Each flower has 5 pieces of fruit. The first flower that comes out in the centre, we call it the king bloom, and then you've got 4 or 5 flowers around that. We try and get rid of those 4 outer flowers and leave the king bloom, because it's always a better fruit. It grows bigger. So we're aiming at a good size apple. So we like to thin the fruit out to 1 per bud, so that the sun goes all around them and they get nice colour and grow good size too. So we can determine the size of the fruit by how many pieces of fruit we hang on a tree. On a tree like this, we'd like to achieve about 140 pieces of fruit. So basically we've got 4 branches, there should be about 5 layers of 4, which is 20 laterals. So we need to get around about 6 or 7 pieces of fruit on each one of those branches.
Wow.
So basically we count, you know, how many buds we're leaving on the tree when we're pruning it. These haven't been pruned yet. They don't need a lot of pruning. They need a few of these young shoots taken out. They've got a fair bit of vigour. That stuff we cut out and we leave some of this younger stuff.
And so you do apples. What other? You do pears?
We do a little bit of pears, not a lot. We had some old plantings of pears, but they were wide spacing, so you know, they weren't economical for us, you know. So we only got a small block of pears. We do get pears out of the Goulburn Valley. They grow better pears because they've got that. Pears like a lot warmer temperature than what we actually can achieve.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm going to get you to spin around because of all this activity of. Quite often when you've got these sort of guns going off, I made the comment, you know, you're trying to keep the monkeys away, because in India they do it for the coffee plantations, and they've got the same method here to keep the birds off. Can you talk about this crop here that you've
Well, we used to have an apple nursery here for growing our trees, and we've been doing a bit of garlic for the market, some fresh garlic.
Yeah.
So any spare bit of space, we put a little bit of garlic.
Yeah,
we plant.
come over here.
You've got your bulb of garlic, you just break up the pieces and we put them in the ground about maybe 25 mil
there we go.
into the
Yes,
ground.
done. Yeah.
Makes me jump.
And then they just sprout out. Yeah, they pretty well grow themselves.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So you're just literally taking pieces of bulb.
Yep, you
and put 'em
plant.
in.
Correct. You plant garlic on the shortest day of the year, and you harvest it on the longest day of the year.
Oh wow! Wow.
So they're
Okay.
basically in the ground for a fair while, you know.
Right. And how long will these be in the ground before you pull them?
Well, they'll be
The
ready.
shortest day was June, wasn't it? June
Yep.
21st?
So it's around about. I think
So
it's is it January 20 something? I think it is. They do have good flavour when they're
And
fresh.
is this a sort of style of garlic, or is it
No, it's just a purple garlic. It
just
is, yeah.
purple garlic?
Well, which is probably the most
the
popular.
most
So
popular?
do you dry some out too, or do you sell them fresh?
Well, we actually plait them, so they look attractive too.
They look
They look
very
great,
attractive.
yeah.
I love those.
They do,
yeah, at the market.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're off to the warehouse, and we're going to be looking at some packing.
Yes. Yep.
Yes, great. Okay, so we'll see you in the warehouse.
And people think apples are apples, but apples are not apples. There's so many different grades of apples, different customer requirements. You know, we pack a few different grades. We pack premium stuff. We pack supermarket line. We pack a market line, which is probably very close together, but they're just little bit differences. And then we'll do like second grade stuff too. And then we've got juice. So,
So you need someone who knows what they're doing.
correct.
Yeah.
It's not something you grasp in 10 minutes. It takes you probably 6 months to actually work out the job, how to do it properly in the packing shed. And the same outside, we go through different stages of the year. There's a lot of different stuff to learn,
Yeah.
So basically, the fruit is washed, it's floated out of the bins, it's washed, it's polished. This fruit is got a light wax on. We don't typically wax much fruit because the supermarkets don't want it waxed. So it's very difficult to wax. You've got to make a choice. You either don't wax or you wax.
Yeah.
So most of the stuff we sell is unwaxed. We've got a big customer base that actually follows us because they want more natural fruit or no wax. The wax we do use is food grade, it's plant-based. So there were some concerns about the wax in years gone by, but they have changed the formulation.
So there's food grade waxing.
Yeah, it is. It's a canola wax it is, so it's a plant-based,
Yeah.
They said that the wax that we used to use had links, as a carcinogen.
Yeah.
But that formulation,
It's
they
gone.
stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, look,
Yeah.
I would suggest
Yeah, we
15
get that question quite a
15 or
lot
20 years
actually.
ago, yeah.
Yeah.
And look, and even with that, the amount of fruit that you had to consume to actually get affected by it was tons. You couldn't physically eat that much fruit.
Yeah.
So fruit that's waxed does look better. It probably holds a little bit better because when we wash the fruit, we wash it in a wash or a detergent that's specifically designed for fruit, to wash fruit. And when you do that, you strip off some of the natural waxes off the fruit. So then it hasn't got as long a shelf life. So that's why you find unwaxed fruit probably doesn't hold as long as waxed fruit. When you put the wax on it, it recoats it and it seals in the fruit and it stops it from drying out or
It
losing
starts
moisture.
deteriorating.
Correct,
Yeah.
So it does help with its shelf life, the wax. Quality control is done right through. We have a program that can identify where fruit comes from, what is sprayed with, when it's harvested, what row it comes from, what the treatments, all the chemicals we've actually used on them. So we can basically trace anything
your
like that.
apples.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
We've got a really good program. Every bin is barcoded, so we know, exactly. We can't tell you the tree it's grown on, but we can tell you the row it's grown in.
I'm going to ask you about food waste. So when you find something along the line, like even here, that's not good enough, what happens to it? Does it get
there's not much that's wasted, okay? So anything with holes in it is basically we throw out for, we've got a pig farmer that takes it, so it doesn't go into landfill. Then we've got juice grade fruit, which is usually bruising. Bruising is not accepted by anybody, like even second grade or any grade, bruising is unacceptable. So anything with bruising goes to a juice company to make apple juice or cider with. Then we've got above that, so we've got second grade fruit. This is some second grade fruit here, but a small mark like that would downgrade it. So we sell that as a second grade fruit. Currently,
I actually don't believe in seconds. I think it's a marketing strategy, but I see what you mean. Anything with a mark, at least your expectations are managed and you know there's going to be a mark.
Look, it eats exactly the same. It's just not, it
from,
might not have full colour.
That's
stripy, It's just a different strain of apple. But they all eat exactly the same as the first class fruit. The first class fruit is no blemishes, higher colour, That's the only real difference. You know?
Yeah.
It might be grown in a different position on the tree where it's not getting as much light.
Yeah.
Might be damaged when it's harvested too.
And then these, they're graded by size?
Yeah, they're all being graded by size, and we can determine where the fruit goes. You know? This machine does not do blemish sorting, so it doesn't take any damaged fruit out. We are looking at upgrading so that the machine actually sends the fruit where it needs to go.
Oh.
So the girls are basically working out what's marked. They're putting in this box. They pack 2 boxes at once. This is the second grade fruit, and they'll pack the first grade fruit as they go too.
Okay. And Nick, just from a business point of view,
Yep.
and I'm looking at it from Vox Bivvy's point of view, because we're there to support community and you're part of our food community.
Yep.
Why is it important for our members to know that supporting I mean, we always say we support farmers and everything, but why now in today's climate is it so important to support farmers and Australian farmers versus importers?
We are going through difficult times, and have been for probably the last 5 or 6 years. You know, like the cost of producing our food is getting higher and higher. Chemicals, water, electricity, refrigeration runs 12 months of the year. We market fruit 12 months of the year. So our power bill is $15,000 a month, like just on this facility alone. Water is expensive in our area too. You know, we pay some of the highest prices of water in the state. And I don't know why that is, but that's determined by the government, what we pay. We're paying like $450 a megalitre. Other areas are paying $80 a megalitre. So it's all those costs. Labour's gone up considerably. Very hard to find staff that want to do this work. You know, there's easier options with better returns. You know, so we're trying to encourage younger generation to come here and work, and we find it very difficult to actually get them. So we've got to start paying like more money to try and encourage them. But still, it's not something that, you know, like people are jumping.
And so you've got to get smarter with your business and maybe reduce your costs and make it more flexible to be able to meet the market.
We're trying, but there's nowhere to cut costs. When you start cutting costs, you start cutting quality.
Yeah,
You know, like,
fair enough.
You know, some places they use saws to prune their trees, and you can do that for 1 year, but the next year you've got double the amount of work. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, we hand prune everything, we hand harvest everything, we grade everything pretty well by hand. You know, I mean the machinery works well, but you know there's still a lot of inputs in it. You know? I don't know where the problem is. You know, like the trouble is I understand that the consumer, you know, like are finding it very hard, and the prices of food is quite high, and I think that sometimes the supermarkets probably do charge, you know, like a bit of a premium. You know, like
They've got a lot of costs.
They've got a lot of costs.
Yeah,
Exactly. You know, like they're going into a warehouse or distribution centre. You know, like they're very union orientated, and they're paying like top dollar for their staff. You know, just the cost of logistics of moving it around, putting it on at store level too. It's all costs. You know, the facilities are expensive. I'm not saying that they're ripping people off.
But it gives you an opportunity to reach out beyond the supermarkets to people like us.
Correct.
Who are supporting within community and
look,
grassroots.
we've got to support all. We've got to support the independents.
Yeah.
We still need the supermarkets because we grow big volumes.
The bulks,
and we can't sell the amount of fruit we harvest or we grow if we don't support them too. You know? And look, they've been instrumental in our development. You know, like we've been dealing with Coles, especially for 50 years. You know? We're still dealing with them now. We've got a different role. We still supply fruit to them, but we're not a direct supplier. You know?
So I just want to thank Nick and Delios, who have an amazing story behind them. Nick, thank you so much for speaking with us. And we do need to support our farmers from our grassroots movement with our community. We need to know where our food is grown and meet the farmer. And Nick, you've told me some things I did not know today.
Well, that's good. Well, we like to educate people because people are unaware of how difficult it is and the effort we put into growing a product. And sometimes it doesn't turn out exactly how you would like it. You know? People tend to shop too much with their eyes instead of actually, you know, like going for something a little
Close
bit.
your eyes and
Well, not so much
taste
close your eyes, exactly.
Yeah.
Taste it, see
Yeah.
what it tastes like,
Yeah.
Indulge,
Yeah,
Sometimes
exactly.
you'll be surprised,
Yeah.
Something that might doesn't look as good still eats.
Eat it anyway.
Correct,
Exactly. And we avoid food waste. So
And I'm not saying we grow ugly fruit or anything like that.
No.
We grow some very nice
yeah,
fruit,
yeah. Thanks
right.
very much,
My
guys.
pleasure. Thank you.
The bit I loved was the air gun keeping the birds away. When I visited coffee plantations in the south of India and at the hotel I stayed in, they used an air gun to keep the monkeys away, not the birds, the monkeys. So it's kind of a tried and true system. It definitely works.
Different country, same problem.
Yeah.
Keeping the pests away. So now, Jane, I don't know about you, but these days I eat most of my fruit intake in savoury meals. I love using fruit like apples to sweeten my savoury dishes.
I use apples in my soup to sweeten them. It's just a really try and true way to do it. So that's it for episode 17. Listeners, if you haven't yet subscribed, please do, and then you'll know when the next episode drops. By the way, if you've got some ideas of topics you'd like Lee and I to cover, send us an email to info@boxdivvy.com.au.
And until next time, Jane.
On